The best thing you can do right now, if you're black and you're watching this, is apply for a passport, please, and start using it. You know, that's one of the weaknesses of South Africa, and that's why there's so much Zeno.
Yeah, because people don't travel.
Hey, they don't know what exists beyond the... Heck, they don't know more. I've met South Africans who don't know who've never been to Durban.
To Joburg.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to the channel. For those that are joining us for the first time, feel very welcome as well. It's always a great pleasure to have you here to share knowledge, to share wisdom, and to share time together. So in this video today, as you can tell from the clip that I just played before this, let's talk a little bit about traveling. So about traveling, let's so something that I have always found rather ironically funny is how much the black person, the African person, has been reduced so much and so much confined by the borders that were drawn by an imperialist to an extent where they ended up believing that they are only belonging to a certain nationality and going across the border to another is a no-no. Man, if you have always watched my other videos, then you can tell that I am so much anti-African borders. I'm so much against the existence of the African borders as it is today. And actually, because of the rigidity or the rigid nature of those borders need to be abolished, need to vanish, need to be done away with, and Africa needs to be made, in fact, not just permeable, but if possible, we make one African state, one huge state of African people, black people. So the black man has been so brainwashed over the ages, and they ended up believing that they must stay within the borders that they never even drew themselves. That's ironical. That's ironically funny, you know? And it's time to fight that misleading narrative, because we need to travel, we need to interact with each other. Africans need to realize that from one country to another, you're just moving from your brothers and sisters to your other brothers and cousins and family. We are just one huge family. This is not just applying to Africans as people within the continent of Africa, but all black people. It's time to break the barriers of the colonialists. These are part of the barriers of the colonialists that are still holding us back today. Africa is the most impermeable continent. Sometimes it's so hard to travel from one African country to another, so hard that sometimes you need to travel to Europe just to be able to travel back to another African country. That's just you know incredibly ridiculous, you know. And there's so much we can get from travel. We all know that the benefits that we can get from just traveling are so much, you know. And I can't even we can't even talk about everything you can get from traveling, you know, from the cultural experience, exposure. You go to know that those other people that you think they live across the border, they're your countrymen, are just like you they're just your people in a different way. There is a lot of personal growth. You get out of your comfort zone, you learn, you know how to beat other challenges, you know. There is a lot of learning opportunities when you go out there. We build relationships that are you know, directly proportionate to growth. We even enhance creativity. Think about going to another country and see how people do things in a different way. Things that you have been doing in a certain way, they show you how to do them in a different way. And you know, the learning never ends. You know, we broaden our horizons by doing this. You know, there's so much we can get from traveling, and the African person, the black person must now realize that being not traveling or being incited against moving within your people and all those conflicts within ourselves that are being incited is not for the good of us. Let me share the entire clip that we had seen from the beginning, and then let's watch it together. Let's come back and give a conclusion. So let's watch the video.
The best thing you can do right now if you're black and you're watching this is apply for a passport, please, and start using it. You know, that's one of the weaknesses of South Africa, and that's why there's so much xeno.
Yeah. Because people don't travel.
Hey, they don't know what exists beyond the... Heck, they don't know more. I've met South Africans who don't know who've never been to Durban.
To Joburg. And they fear coming to Johannesburg. As someone who comes from KZN.
Now think of, what do you think? Do you think we're not scared when we cross a border to go to another country? Do you think that people are just like, yay, we're going? No. It's the scariest experience. When I was 21, jumping onto a plane, going to a different country where I know no one, I don't know what they eat. It's scary. But that's how also wealth is created, by traveling.
Sure.
Money knows no borders.
Yes.
Okay, so the reason why we don't know how much money they stole from Africa is because we've never been to their countries.
To see our wealth there.
Hey, go see that little island called UK. You cry. Little island, rocks. They don't even have animals. But the wealth, scary.
We used to be a traveling people. If you think of
as Africans, we were.
Just from a natural perspective, you'd always go to fertile earth, always go to where the water's flowing.
We're nomads.
But now it's like you're stuck, and it's almost like you're frowned upon for even moving.
Yeah, you're frowned upon for even suggesting you want to move.
Yeah, to fertile earth. And fertile earth obviously is where you can make
so
money.
So that's another concept of money pen.
Yeah.
In order to understand money travel, once you've traveled, you get perspective. Once you have perspective, you get vision. When you get vision, you can get a mission. When you get a mission, you can do it. Now, if you don't travel, you will sit and consume what's fed to you. The narrative is not under your control. Am I saying everyone must leave South Africa? No, I'm just saying that be aware.
Sure.
And also, we need to embrace and also start understanding those who have traveled, why they came. Some of them it's real poverty, and a lot of foreigners are doing good in this country. But there's a lot of bad.
Yes.
I'm not taking that away.
Sure.
Okay, but we just need to understand, put yourself in their shoes, going to a scary place, they don't know language, they don't speak, they're talking about you, you know, and you know, it's not all pap and flays. It's not all rosy.
I've been attacked on social media for trying to create the analogy of traveling from one province to another, or from a village to a city. So I'm from Newcastle in KwaZulu-Natal. I came to Joburg, fertile earth. And to what you're saying about opportunities, if you look at a lot of the people that are making money in small towns, it's because they've traveled to the big cities, seen ideas, brought them back home, or when we speak import-export, they literally go and buy from a China city, wholesalers in the cities into the villages, which is, if you just broaden your mind, it's the same thing that happens when you travel across borders. So when I made that example, and I remember Helen Zille was dragged for saying South Africans are economic migrants. She was speaking about people from the Eastern Cape, from Limpopo, from Mpumalanga, from KZN, and even from the Free State that travel to these big cities looking for a better life. And it's like, but guys, if you're going to tell, I got dragged for this. My views on xenophobia and those things are alternative. We'll discuss them another day. But I was saying, to get into the mindset of understanding why someone would even illegally move to another place, it's because they want a better life. That's the reason why you're not where you grew up. Because one of the arguments was, why don't they go and fix their home? Why don't Zimbabweans go fix Zimbabwe? Why are you here? And I'm like, but you're from a small village in the Eastern Cape. Why are you not going to fix your village? It's the exact same mindset. But obviously I got dragged.
I think, you know, you're defining, firstly, your definition of people buying things, selling them in another place, or people getting ideas from another place. That's called international trade.
It is.
That is what international trade is. No one has ever questioned why Mercedes-Benz builds cars in East London. No one has ever questioned why Ford is building cars in Mamelodi. No one has ever questioned why BMW, a German company, is building cars in Pretoria and Roslyn. No one questions that.
Why don't you go home? Sort it out at home.
Why don't
Keep
they
things at
build
home.
their own cars in their own country? We embrace that. You know?
Sure.
So why is it a problem when a Somalian opens a spaza? Because that space where that spaza is open has always been there. You know? It goes back to the Commonwealth. Let's go back there. Let's go back to the Commonwealth of the township economy.
Before you speak about the Commonwealth, the counter argument to what you're saying about they stole our minds and our hands and our labor.
Opportunities.
No, it's the fact that your Mercedes-Benz, your BMW, they create jobs. So people are like, but at least they bring jobs. So that becomes the counter argument. Please continue with the Commonwealth.
Okay, now, well, so I personally think, and I believe this is not just, a South African problem, whereby, we are always afraid and thinking that people from another country or even another region within the same country are coming to take our opportunities, are coming to take our jobs. It's just an African problem. We're always, even though sometimes it might be so pronounced in South Africa, but this is an African problem. Just that maybe some other regions are not really so much outspoken about the same, and it's time we fight that myth, that misconception. Let African people move around, let Black people move around. And in the words of Steve Harvey, I really personally also recommend that every Black person, especially Black people outside of the African continent, must try that once in their lifetime they get a chance, or they treat themselves that privilege of visiting the motherland of Africa. They need to come back and just get in touch with the land of their ancestors, the land of their beginning, the land of their birth. Um, Especially for those that are a minority within white communities, Black Americans, for instance, or those Africans that live in Europe, or descendants of African in Europe and the Americas, in lands that are majorly being controlled almost entirely by the white people. I really highly recommend that they need to have this experience of, coming to the motherland, coming to Africa, just to get in touch with their roots, just so you wake up not conscious about the fact that you're Black, wake up not feeling like a minority. That is something that is one of the best feelings in the world. I know what it feels to be a minority myself. I might not have experienced it as much as a Black person in a white landsman has, but I know what it feels to be a minority. So if a Black person who has the entire of their existence always been conscious about the color of their skin comes back to a place where you don't have to wake up thinking, or being conscious of your Blackness, then I think that is just something we have to advocate for. So wake up, African people, wake up, Black people in America, in Europe, in the Caribbean, in South America, in Asia, in Australia, and whichever part of the world. It's time that we wake up to this reality and break this confinement. We are not. It's not to our benefit for us to stay within those borders and hate each other, and these xenophobia things. So that is what I have to share with you for this video. Please do give your comments, and your thoughts and your opinions on this in the comments. And like this video, share this video widely, and please, if you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, then the time is now. Until next time, see you in the next video.